DETV News is brought to you by DART, Delaware Public Transit Service, moving you forward.
One local organization is preparing for Afghan refugees to settle in Delaware.
And the Wilmington Fire Department announced big plans this week to celebrate their upcoming 100th anniversary. We've got the details.
And as thousands of school children around Delaware head back to class, the bus driver shortage has gotten so bad, one charter school is offering to pay parents to drive their kids to school. Those stories and your local sports and weather ahead, so stay with us. Hello and welcome to DETV News, your trusted news source. I'm Lauren Wilson.
And I'm Matt Ford. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Topping the news this week, a Newcastle man and 2 firefighters are recovering from injuries after flames engulfed the man's home yesterday afternoon. The cause of the 2-alarm fire destroyed the home in the Buena Vista community and has been ruled accidental by the fire marshal's office. Smoke from the fire was visible for miles. When firefighters arrived, they found the single-story home up in flames. The cause of the fire is said to be spilled gasoline vapors, which ignited from the garage from an operating pump. The flames then quickly spread. The homeowner and 2 firefighters were treated for burns to their legs. All 3 are listed in good condition at the Christiana Hospital.
When elementary students head back to school, they'll now get the mental health services and other social, emotional support they need thanks to a brand new law. Governor John Carney recently signed House Bill 100 at Southern Elementary School in the Colonial School District. The legislation requires every public school to hire counselors, social workers, psychologists, and other mental health care professionals to help young children in kindergarten through 5th grade before it's too late when they reach middle and high schools. State Representative Valerie Longhurst spearheaded the bill that got across the board bipartisan support.
I think it's important. I think it's groundbreaking for our state. I think that this is going to allow the teachers to teach. It's going to allow the behavioral health specialists to deal with our children and hear them. And I think the combination of both of those will make Delaware a better state.
Under the law, schools now have to hire elementary mental health professionals based on a ratio that reflects the school's student population. Also in Colonial, the Department of Health sponsored a vaccination clinic at William Penn High School. The free event was open to the public with the hope that adults would bring children ages 12 to 17 with them to get vaccinated before the school year starts. DPH held 4 vaccination clinics around the state, and indications are there may be more to come.
As school districts around the region and the country try to cope with a school bus shortage, one school plans to pay parents to drive their own children. That's the incentive Eastside Charter School in Wilmington is offering. Parents will get $700 for each child they pick up and drop off from school this year. In a statement, the Wilmington school said the entire state is facing a shortage of bus drivers and empowering parents is the best solution. It went on to say Eastside is glad to be in the forefront of the solution-oriented approaches to the crisis. The school will still offer buses to those who need transportation.
Sticking with school news, a school district in Dover is going virtual, but it has nothing to do with COVID-19. The Capital School District will move virtual learning for 2 days while the Firefly Music Festival is in town. The district announced it will be virtual Thursday, September 23rd, and Friday, September 24th. The decision was prompted by ongoing transportation concerns and anticipated traffic delays. Parents have been told that bus routes will be published on the district website and social media by August 26th.
Our proactive approach is to safeguard safety and the well-being of all students and staff, and to front-load child care needs.
Moving to international news, Delaware's only refugee resettlement agency is working with state and national partners to prepare for Afghan refugees settling in Delaware. Jewish Family Services of Delaware is scaling up as it makes plans to accept special immigrant visa holders. all Afghanis who work with U.S. forces during the 20-year conflict.
JFS, along with all of our partner organizations, legislators, and state government, are working directly with HIAS, a umbrella organization that resettle refugees, to determine when Afghan refugees will be arriving. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Crosby said the agency is currently preparing for as many as 50 refugees to settle in the first state.
A 25-year-old off-duty volunteer firefighter was killed early Sunday morning when she stopped on I-95 to assist a motorist and was struck by a passing pickup truck. Cecilia Escobar Duplan was driving southbound on I-95 near Delaware Avenue in Wilmington shortly after 4 a.m. when she spotted a Jeep that had crashed into the construction zone. In an attempt to help the driver, she parked in an off-ramp and got out of her car, walking into the lane where the Jeep had crashed. The driver of a passing truck, who police said could not see her due to weather conditions and bright lights, struck her and the Jeep. She was transported to the emergency room where she later died of her injuries. Escobar Duplan had joined the Wilmington Manor Volunteer Fire Company in June of 2018 as a probationary member and then earned full senior member status in June of 2019. She had acquired her firefighting and basic medical training and was actively riding the ambulance as an apprentice. Escobar Duplan worked as a security officer at Westchester University while attending the school to finish her criminal justice undergraduate degree. Wilmington Manor Fire Department President Ronald Hopkins said the department was saddened by the loss and is working with her family to provide support. Local fire companies formed a procession on Monday to transport her body from the hospital to the medical examiner's office. Stay with us. There's more news after the break. You're watching DETV News.
Happy birthday!
That's wonderful. Thank you, dear. Very
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You make me feel so young. You make me feel so spring has sprung. And every time I see you,
You're not fooling anybody you know. Think young. Pass it on.
the moment that you speak.
A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Get along down the road. We got a long, long way to go. Scared to live, scared to die. We ain't perfect, but we try. Get along while we can. Always give love the upper hand. Paint a wall, learn to dance. Call your mom, buy a boat, sing a song, make a friend. Can't we all get along?
Welcome back. Two Middletown women are facing dozens of animal cruelty charges. The Office of Animal Welfare was called to the home where they found 56 cats living inside conditions they described as deplorable and inhumane. Cheryl Joseph faces 48 counts of cruel neglect and 2 animal cruelty felonies. Amy Wood faces 5 counts of cruelty neglect. 1 cat was found dead inside the home and another was rushed to a veterinary hospital where the animal had to be euthanized. The Middletown home was also condemned. The remaining cats were taken to the Brandywine Valley SPCA where they're undergoing a variety of treatments. Hope is they'll be put up for adoption when their health is restored. Both women were released on their own recognizance and are forbidden from possessing any pets pending a court hearing.
As cases of COVID-19 fueled by the Delta variant rise substantially here in Delaware, Christiana Care is once again limiting visitation at its facilities. Effective this week, inpatients at Christiana, Wilmington, and Union hospitals will only be permitted to have 1 visitor per day between the hours of 10 a.m. and 8 p.m., and visitors must be 16 years of age or older. Anyone having outpatient surgery will be permitted 1 support person. The same goes for emergency room patients. Women preparing to give birth will be permitted 2 support people, but after delivery, only 1 person can visit. In all cases, visitors must provide proof of vaccination or show a negative COVID-19 test result taken within the last 72 hours. Masks are also required in all Christiana Care facilities at all times.
In other news, a 29-year-old man was killed Tuesday morning when his motorcycle collided with a car in the Castle Hills community. The crash happened just before 6 a.m. on Moores Lane. Newcastle County Police say the car, driven by a 19-year-old woman, turned into the left lane of Person Place and was hit by the motorcycle. The motorcyclist, identified as Seth Hoffman, was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the car was treated and released for minor injuries. Police are investigating the crash, but say at this point impairment does not appear to be a factor in the crash. A GoFundMe page has been set up in Hoffman's honor. His fiancée is said to be expecting a second child in just 2 weeks.
A 27-year-old Wilmington man was charged using a knife in an unsuccessful attempt to rob a convenience store in Bear. Authorities say he then robbed an Ogletown gas station before dropping most of his ill-gotten gains when he ran into an armed bystander. According to police, Frank Torres attempted to rob a 7-Eleven at knife point shortly after midnight on Sunday, but left empty-handed when the employee refused to turn over any money. Torres, still toting a knife, then entered the Shell station off of Christiana Road about a half an hour later. This time, he got the employee to hand over some cash, but dropped some of it when a Good Samaritan who witnessed the robbery held Torres at gunpoint. Despite that, Torres was still able to make it back to his car and drive away, but not for long. Police soon caught up with him and he was taken into custody. He's charged with multiple felonies and is now behind bars.
Starting Monday, lifeguard hours will be reduced at a couple of state-run ocean beaches, and the Tower Road Beach on the bay side of Rehoboth will have no lifeguards during the week from Monday through September 3rd. The same goes for the state park in Fenwick. Summer swimmers will be glad to know that both beaches will remain guarded on the weekends. State officials encourage those who'd like to go for a swim to check out the main beach at the Cape Henlopen State Park and on the South Indian River Inlet side of the Delaware Seashore State Park, both of which will be guarded every day through Labor Day with limited staff. The staff reductions come at a time when many lifeguards return to high school, college, and sports camps. You may want to get your pumpkin spice coffee iced for the next few days. The heat is sticking around. Here's a look at your local weekend forecast.
The COVID-19 vaccines are going to help us all get back to the moments we miss.
It's totally normal to have questions. I did too. That's why it's so important to get informed.
Ask your doctor and get the facts. It's up to you.
Welcome back. The Delaware Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Control is giving the okay to put bird feeders and baths back up just in time for the fall. Now, you may recall back in June, the public was asked to stop using bird feeders and baths due to a mysterious illness that was spreading among certain birds. The still unknown virus seemed to cause eye swelling and neurological issues like erratic flying and stumbling in bird populations across 10 states and Washington, D.C. Those who wish to continue using old bird feeders and baths are advised to clean them first with a 10% bleach solution and continue to do so weekly. If a sick or dead bird is observed, keep pets away from it. Avoid handling the bird and use gloves if necessary. And again, stop using that bird feeder or bath. Scientists note that no human, domestic livestock, or poultry issues have been reported in connection to this mysterious virus. Anyone who might witness a bird displaying odd behavior is urged to contact Tri-State Bird Rescue and Research.
The first state is in desperate need of blood donations. The blood bank of Delmarva says they only have enough blood to last 3 days. The summer is typically a slow time for the blood donations, but there's also a shortage because of the pandemic, which canceled most college and high school blood drives, which accounts for about 25% of blood collected during the school year. Doctors say there is an especially high demand for anyone with type O blood. Making matters worse, the blood bank is also asking people to be patient because they are having a staffing shortage. Switching gears, we all know the many benefits of exercise, but have you ever considered boxing? Here with many reasons why you should is DETV's Donnie Beaujolais-Smith.
Hi everyone. If you've been tuning in for the last few weeks, we have talked tons about the importance of preventative health, how that powerful combination of nutrition, exercise, sleep, and stress management work together to ward off the development of chronic conditions like high blood pressure, cholesterol, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. But I thought it was important to share a real example of what wellness looks like in action. So I decided to jump out of my comfort zone and jump into the ring. That's right, today we're talking boxing. I had the opportunity to have a special training session with Wilmington-born Omar Super O. Douglas. Omar is a former NABA champion, ranking at one point as 15th in the world. He won his first championship at age 11 and has trained for most of his career at the William Hicks Anderson Center in Wilmington. What I learned is that boxing is accessible for everyone, regardless of age or fitness level. You can be a champ like Super O, or you can be a newbie like me. He broke down a workout for me into 4 basic moves that you can do at the gym or in the privacy of your own home. First, you have the jab. Second, you have the cross. Third, you come around with the hook. And fourth, you hit him with an uppercut. The workout is simple. Perform each move in reps of 10, then move on to combinations in sets of 10 repetitions as well. So your move becomes jab, cross, and then combining your hook and your uppercut. Rest for 1 to 2 minutes and repeat 2 more times. Now let me tell you, this workout really packs a punch. Boxing is a full body workout that uniquely combines strength training and cardio. Here are some of the benefits. 1, builds your cardiovascular health. Your heart and lungs are fully engaged. 2, builds your endurance. Your boxing increases your body's functionality, allowing you to go for longer. 3, need to lose some weight? This is it. You can burn 350 to 550 calories per workout, depending on your size. 4, strengthen your muscle tone throughout your body. Your whole body is engaged from your shoulder to your legs whenever you throw a punch. 5, boost your confidence. I felt empowered to be in a space and a sport that previously felt off limits. 6, reduce your stress. Now trust me on this one. A few punches into the session and I was letting out some real pent-up frustration. 7, improve sleep. Boxing has proven to promote REM sleep, which is that restful sleep our bodies need. And 8, enhance your mental functioning. This last one I love. I call it a bonus benefit. That means while learning to box, you are improving your hand-eye coordination, your memory, your focus, and your balance. I'm definitely adding boxing to my win column for sure. So challenge yourself and give it a try. I'm Donnie Beaujolais-Smith. This is your Health and Wellness Report. I'll see you next time.
A federal judge ruled current and former students at the University of Delaware can pursue claims that the school breached contractual obligations and unjustly got money by halting in-person classes and shutting down the campus last spring because of the pandemic. Some students allege UD promised them in-person classes, activities, and services. The judge said even if the university was justified in breaking any such promise because of COVID-19, it should not have made money in doing so and may return the funds if it saved any when it went online. The plaintiffs are seeking partial refunds of their spring 2020 tuition and fees. The students argue before the pandemic, the school treated in-person and online classes as separate offerings and charged more for some in-person programs than it did for similar online classes. They also argue that the university charged them fees for the gym, student centers, and health center, sometimes at higher rates than those paid by online students, and that the school kept those fees while denying them services. University attorneys filed motions to dismiss the lawsuits, arguing students failed to identify any specific contractual term that was breached, and said the school has the right to change its policies, fees, and other charges without notice.
Call it a party foul, if you will. As COVID-19 cases increase, it appears likely Newark's pandemic-related restrictions on private gatherings will be reinstated sometime this fall unless the City Council repeals the law. The restrictions were lifted in May as the pandemic waned. But by the way the ordinance is written, the restrictions will be re-triggered if the city sees 2 consecutive weeks of 125 or more cases per 100,000 residents, or a positivity rate of 6% or higher. Right now, the city is at 47 cases per 100,000 residents and has a 3.1% positivity rate. Based on regional trends and the pending return of University of Delaware students, the city manager expects those numbers to continue to increase. Under the private gathering ordinance, indoor gatherings are limited to 10 people and outdoor gatherings are limited to 20. People can apply to the city for a free permit to have larger gatherings. More than 300 people, mostly UD students, were cited for violating the law during the last school year.
We're going to take a quick break. Nick is up next with your local sports report. Stay with us. DETV News will return in 60 seconds.
Meatball on white. Next. You want mustard on that or not? Come on, I haven't got all day here. It doesn't come with peppers. They're extra. Hurry up, pay the lady. Next. Chicken's fresh, I killed it myself. So that's what you want? Next. While we're still young, you know you told me you wanted mustard. Get out of here. Time's up, back of the line.
Hey, excuse me.
What?
Great sandwich. Thanks.
Compliments. Pass them on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Welcome back inside DETV News. I'm Nick Alessandrini. Just a week from today, we'll be kicking off our 21-22 fall high school sports season, but the University of Delaware is also set to get their fall football season started next Thursday. The Hens will open up on the road as they travel to the CAA rival Maine to take on the Black Bears. Delaware handed Maine a 37-0 rout at home during the opener of the spring football season back in March. The Hens are looking to carry over some of that momentum that they earned in the fall when they reached the FCS semifinals and finished with an overall record of 7-1. Delaware comes into the opener ranked 2nd in the CAA behind James Madison and 5th in all of FCS. You can catch the opener on the flagship station for UD Sports 94.7 WDSD with coverage beginning at 6. What a night it was on Sunday night for the return of WNBA superstar and Delaware native Elena Delle Donne. Washington Mystics head coach Mike Tebow said before the game that it feels a little bit like Christmas, and it only took the 2-time WNBA MVP a few minutes to get her first bucket since October 2019. Delle Donne went on to finish with 16 points on 5 for 11 shooting and 3 boards in 22 minutes in a loss to Seattle 85-78. And then Delle Donne was also back in action on Tuesday night in a 78-68 win over the LA Sparks. She scored 18 points, hauled in 5 rebounds, and not to mention a plus 36 in the box score. The UD and Ursuline product had been out since 2019 due to 2 back surgeries. Good luck, Elena, and we're all happy to see you back. Over the weekend, we had our first taste of Delaware Summer League basketball action with the Grail Sports Summer Shootout at the Plex. Local Delaware high schools had the chance to compete with each other, but also with some out-of-state talent that made the trip down from Philly. Let's jump right into it and get some highlights from the shootout. We're going to get started with William Penn and MCS. Again, a tough team making the trip down from Philly to take on William Penn. William Penn, though, getting on the board here early. That's Moore down in the paint for 2. A little bit later on in the first half, 30-26, William Penn up by 4. Here's Gabe Valmont, again, trying to get something to go here. Hands off to Sample, who dribble drives, gets in the paint off the glass, and finishes for 2. And the foul, old-fashioned three-point play for William Penn. 33-26 as we wind down the end of the first half. Can the Colonials score again? It's Fawcett on the drive. Floater in the paint goes. William Penn with a lead by 7 at the half. Fast forward to second half action. William Penn up by 8. Here's Gabe Valmont again. Hands it off to Fawcett, who's going to drive, kick to the corner, leads a open 3 right there, knocked down from the Colonials, 65-64. Colonials trying to hold on, but the inbound here from MCS with 20 seconds gives them a 1-point lead. Trying to answer as time's expiring, William Penn couldn't get that shot to go from Valmont in the lane, and that will do it. MCS holds on for the victory, 66-65. Now on to our second matchup, and that is Middletown and Emotep Charter. Emotep Charter making the trip down from Philly. Middletown going to get on the board here. Rogers to Frazier underneath. Reverse layup goes a little bit later in the first half. Emotep up 13-11. Middletown again trying to score. It's the Caravel transfer. Jaden Rogers knocks down the corner from the three, gives Middletown the lead. Then a little bit later on, Middletown down by 4. Here's Rogers looking for somewhere to go. A nice give and go action. Rogers gets it back and scores 28-26. On to second half action. Sparks 3 won't go. Jaden Rogers again down there doing it himself, getting the rebound, puts it back. This one is a close one. A little bit later on, Middletown down by 2. Eldridge down low. Perfect pass by Evan Sparks. We're all tied up. Then a little bit later, 59-56, 3 seconds to play. Middletown down by 3. Jaden Rogers fouled on the 3-ball attempt, but he would miss his second free throw. Emotep Charter able to hold on to the victory over Middletown, 59-57. Now for one of our other matchups, it's the defending Delaware State champion Sanford Warriors taking on another tough team from Philly, and that is Archbishop Carroll. Here you see Dion Polk trying to get the scoring started and doing it with his defense, able to poke it away from Sean Smith and then take it himself, finger rolls in, 2-0 Sanford early in this one. Again, Archbishop Carroll, a tough team from down south. A big run to get them up by 15, 17-2. Sanford trying to inch their way back in it. Mid-range jumper goes there, 24-12. Then using the defense again to turn it into offense. Polk has it, launches a 3. Bang, that one goes. 24-19 with 18 seconds to go in the first half. Dion Polk looking for somewhere to go with it, finds Forrester. He knocks down the shot from the mid-range. That would be the end of the first half. 46-45, we're going to fast forward to the second half here. Sanford down by 1, looking for somewhere to go with it. They get it down low to Stafford. He's going to take the mid-range jumper, knock it down from the baseline, giving Sanford their first lead. 52-48, Sanford up by 4, trying to hold on with 2 minutes. Stafford again going to take the power dribble down low, kicks it out to Forrester, an open 3, and he knocks it down. Sanford able to hold on for the victory over a tough Archbishop Carroll team, 60-54. Then in our final matchup for you, it's actually 2 Delaware teams, the Howard Wildcats and Salesianum. Salesianum, one of the teams to watch out for here this upcoming season. 0-0 early. Hollingsworth for Howard around the screen. Nice pass to Darius Brown on the pick and roll. He lays it in. Howard on the board here first early. Then a little bit later on, Sally's trying to get on the board. James Johns Jr. Back up top to Justin Mullen. He's going to find Isaiah Hinson in the corner. He's going to launch a 3. That one goes. Lead to Sally's early. A little bit later on in the first half, 15-7. And Richardson Powell 3 from the right wing gets Howard back in at 15-10 Sally's. Later in the first half, 39-28, Hinson into the corner to James Johns Jr., and he was very impressive. Euro step inside, gets that one to go. Then a little bit later on, here he is in transition, mid-range jumper, and the contact goes for James Johns Jr. Again, a very impressive outing for the new Salesianum player. Then a little bit later on, near the end of the first half, how about some Justin Mullen action? He goes baseline, hung up in the air, able to finish with ease. Sally's up big at the end of the first half. Then later in the second half, more Justin Mullen. Check out the handle here, able to beat his defender, hang in the air, take some contact, and finishes. And then Mullen going to kick it to James Johns Jr. in the second half. That's nothing but net for 3. And Sally's, they were clicking on all cylinders here in this one. They're up big 55-28. A little bit later on, 66-38. Again, Howard trying to make a dent. It went RJ Matthews going to knock down the 3 from the right wing, but wouldn't be enough as Sally's holds on 74-54 to get the win over Howard. And that's all we got for this week. Make sure you stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
Get along down the road. We got a long, long way to go. Scared to live, scared to die. We ain't perfect, but we try. Get along while we can. Always give love the upper hand. Paint a wall, learn to dance. Call your mom, buy a boat, sing a song, make a friend. Can't we all get along?
Welcome back. The Wilmington Fire Department is about to celebrate a big anniversary, and plans have been in the making for months.
For 100 years, the Wilmington Fire Department has served this city, its citizens and visitors with dedication and valor. What started as 10 volunteer stations dating back to 1775, the Wilmington Fire Department was organized in 1921 to ensure that the citizens would receive the highest level of service and immediate response to assist them in their time of need.
Firefighters and city officials gathered Wednesday to announce several events this fall, including a parade, open houses at the fire stations, a flea market, and banquet. The 100th anniversary celebration begins with open houses at all city fire stations on October 2nd and 3rd. On October 23rd, there will be a parade through downtown Wilmington featuring fire equipment, a flea market, and a display of antique equipment at the riverfront and water rescue boat ride displays. A memorial service for fallen firefighters is slated for October 24th, and a centennial banquet will be held November 30th at the Chase Center on the riverfront. For more information, visit WFD100th.com. Employees and customers of Klondike Kate's on Main Street in Newark are rallying behind two employees who were badly injured in a car crash earlier this month. Ben Dewberry and Ryan Walsh were backseat passengers in a Jeep that slammed into a tree. The driver, who police say was drunk and going more than 60 miles an hour, is facing vehicular assault charges. The two University of Delaware students remain in critical condition and have a long recovery ahead of them. The driver and a third passenger were also hurt, but their injuries were not as severe. Klondike Kate's is offering customers the opportunity to round up their checks, with the change going to a fund for Dewberry and Walsh's medical bills. Customers can also specify an additional amount to donate. The restaurant is also planning a t-shirt sale and has a golf outing scheduled for Thursday, October 14th at the Newark Country Club. Details can be found on Klondike Kate's Facebook page.
Finally, in Sussex County, the 20th annual Special Olympics Delaware Summer Camp was recently held at Camp Barnes. More than 40 athletes joined counselors and staff to attend the 3-day, 2-night gathering. The traditional camp experience was canceled last year due to the pandemic, but campers happily returned and got reacquainted with old friends and met new ones. They took part in things like arts and crafts and other outdoor camp activities. The staff members were fully vaccinated before attending. One of the directors said the counselors develop a greater understanding and appreciation of their peers with disabilities, and it serves as a tremendous lesson that all people are more alike than they are different. And Matt, I think that's something we all should keep in mind.
A good sentiment. I love that. The people at Special Olympics do terrific events. I'm glad they were able to get back to that this year. So speaking of Special Olympics, I also saw on their Facebook page that I think this last week they opened the polar bear plunge registration. So I don't know if we should go down there. It's in February, so we have some time to think about it.
I don't need to think about it if it's in February. No thanks.
All right. Well, maybe we'll get her to go in a couple months. We'll work on her.
That's our report for the week. For all of us here at DETV News, thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.
DETV News is brought to you by DART, Delaware Public Transit Service, moving you forward.